At its heart lies the family, the puzzle piece that anchors us with its web of relationships and gives us a sense of identity. If this piece weakens, so too will every other piece. Our local workforce will decline, our national security will weaken, our communities will thin without intergenerational bonds, and our sense of home and national identity will erode. A we-first society cannot endure unless we first know who we are. Families give meaning to that we. Young parents today are stretched, striving to build their careers but strained by caregiving responsibilities, cost, and the unpredictability of early childhood. The pressure is real, but so too is our ability to ease it. The government saw the challenge and acted. This is something to be proud of, and this is just the beginning. This is perhaps the best time in Singapore to start and raise a family, because the government is listening, learning, and determined to act. I will play my part to speak on policies that strengthen families, so that the family puzzle piece can maintain its place in the heart of the Singapore puzzle. Over the years, the family puzzle piece has changed in shape. It no longer fits as before. Working parents face a widening care gap. Technology has rewritten the playbook on raising children, and our seniors seek connection in this fast-changing world. If the pieces do not align, the picture will reveal its fault lines. Mr. Speaker, in my speech today, I will focus on the care gap facing working parents, but the other corners of this puzzle piece are no less important. First, on the care gap. Many in my generations are young parents or parents-to-be. We grew up in a Singapore that was prosperous and stable. We have been given opportunities our parents could only dream of. We take pride that Singapore consistently punches above its weight internationally. We see no need to compromise. The world is racing ahead, and so must we. We must move quickly to find our niche in a contested and fragmented global market, adapt our people for new technologies like AI. We must stay competitive and hungry. But at home, we're stretched, caring for young children, aging parents, and coping with the rising cost of living. We are ambitious, but often exhausted. Many still aspire to marriage and parenthood, but the reality of raising a child in today's Singapore weighs heavily on young parents. 4 in 10 cite stress as a main reason for not wanting children. Young parents today want to be present for their child. Many prefer not to rely on a domestic helper or on the help of grandparents. Others do not have the benefit of either of these options. This means that young parents are often saddled with heavy caregiving responsibilities. The problem is exacerbated by the increase in dual-income families. Young working parents find themselves constantly juggling. Juggling careers with the unpredictability of childcare and childhood illnesses, the unspoken shame of pumping at work or leaving office in the evening for school pickups, the unseen second shift of housework and childcare after work. There are expectations at work if our parents want to be seen as equal next to their non-parent colleagues, especially in a competitive job market like ours, especially in a time of economic change, where, as the President noted in his address, workers need to adapt and evolve to stay relevant. Especially in a generation like ours today, where the number of non-parent employees is increasing, and parents start to feel more like outsiders, pushed into the periphery. Indeed, the Family Trends Report 2025 reported a decrease in the take-up of government-paid maternity leave by mothers, from 79% in 2019 to 74% in 2023. More than 1 in 4 mothers do not take more than 2 months of maternity leave. Do our working mothers feel the need to expedite their return to work or suffer the consequences? Another example, which is a common experience for most parents. Hand, foot, and mouth disease outbreaks happen frequently in preschools. Children can catch it more than once, and when infected, they must be brought home and looked after. But each parent only has 6 days of childcare leave a year. A single bout of hand-foot-mouth disease for a single child can wipe out almost all of it. Add to this preschool closures and other childhood illnesses, coupled with the pressures and insecurities of work and rising costs, and it is easy to see how the early years can become overwhelming. There is also the omnipresent pressure to live up to society's ideal of being a good parent, pouring immense time, energy, and resources into securing a child's future. With technology, AI, and rising expectation, that pressure has only grown. The early years are difficult, and unlike past generations, ours has more choices. Parenthood is no longer the default. There are other options, some of which feel more urgent and important, others feel more comfortable. Do we perceive family as an ideal that looks good on paper, but not a realistic goal or an attractive experience? Mr. Speaker, I'm concerned. I'm concerned that these sentiments are spreading. The desire to marry is slowly falling across the years. 7 in 10 of our youths feel that it is not necessary to get married or have children in a marriage. These sentiments have crystallized into reality. Our TFR is at its lowest. This is reshaping our society. It affects policy planning in areas like education, housing, health, even national security, but perhaps most critically, it will affect our identity as a nation. What can we do to arrest this trend? We can further strengthen the bridge between work and caregiving. Singaporeans have consistently told us that career and raising a family are equally important to them. Let's not make them choose between work and family. Let's empower them to thrive in both. We have made tremendous progress in this area, especially in the last few years. These policy changes will need time to make an impact. And in the meantime, we must continue the progress. Mr. Speaker, I make some suggestions on how we can further strengthen the bridge between work and caregiving for working parents. But before I do so, I want to acknowledge that these suggestions cost money and can exacerbate manpower challenges. Our employers are still adjusting to the new parental leave regime and face an uncertain global market. We do not want to introduce these suggestions at the expense of our businesses. We need mindset shifts from both employers and employees to make the following suggestions work in a mutually beneficial way and in a way that will last in the long term and in a way that will not be abused. And there is something in it for employers too. In today's competition for talent, family-friendly HR policies build trust, retain top talent, and save employers the hidden cost of good people walking away. Dual-income families are contributing to our economy, and I believe our young working parents want to be able to do right by their children and by their employers. I suggest that as we help companies leverage on technology and AI to improve productivity and stay relevant in the new market, we keep the following suggestions in mind. We can restructure childcare leave to increase incrementally with each child. We can make flexible work arrangements genuinely accessible to both mothers and fathers. We can provide contingencies for common childhood illnesses with sick bays and medical support where the children are. We can strengthen workplace culture and HR practices so that young parents are supported to thrive both at work and at home. And we can reshape how society and workplaces see parenthood and families by bringing to light not just its challenges, but the deep joys and meaning that it brings. Bridging the care gap will take a whole of government and whole of society approach, all of us rowing in the same direction.